Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and in this video, I'll be taking a look at the long-term perspective for Bitcoin as this bull market is just getting started, while Bitcoin is following the price of gold heading towards this huge price target. And in just a moment, I'll be sharing multiple important charts to help predict the bull market top, as this chart reveals when the next major altcoin season will begin. So I'll be talking about all of that and so much more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the monthly Bitcoin chart. So each one of these candles is one entire month worth of Bitcoin price action. So this is looking at almost Bitcoin's entire price history going all the way back to 2011. And we can see that throughout Bitcoin's history, Bitcoin works in 4-year cycles known as the 4-year halving cycles, because in case you're new to all of this, Bitcoin has a Bitcoin halving roughly once every 4 years. And the Bitcoin halvings usually happen just before the US presidential elections, but this chart right here shows those US presidential elections because it's around this time in the 4-year cycle where the bull market really starts heating up. So for example, taking a look at this first cycle back in 2012, entering into 2013, of course, we saw the 2012 US election, and then over the next 1 year approximately, if we're actually measuring out that move right here, that was around, 1 year after the US election, we saw a major bull market for that next entire year. And then if we're taking a look at the 2016 election, from that election onwards, we saw a major bull market in the price of Bitcoin for pretty much exactly 1 year. And then that ended around 1 year after the 2016 US election. And then if we're taking a look at the 2020 US election, from that election to the actual bull market top, that was pretty much exactly 1 year after the election. And so obviously we've only just seen the US election take place, which means we're still due to see a major bull market on the larger timeframes for potentially the next year, well into 2025, and then the bull market will likely top out at some point in the second half of 2025 if history is any indication. As always, no guarantees, but this is just based on Bitcoin's history. And usually the bear markets, which of course come after the Bitcoin bull markets, those bear markets usually last for roughly around 1 year or so, and they happen in between the Bitcoin halvings or in between the US elections. And so simply based on these 4-year cycles, it's likely that we'll see a continued bull market well into 2025, and then at some point, most likely in the second half of 2025, the bear market will begin, and that bear market will last for roughly 1 year or so before we start the recovery heading into the next cycle. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, so each one of these candles is one entire week of Bitcoin price action. And right now we're continuing to play out this huge bull market signal, which I have been covering here on the channel quite a lot. And if we're measuring from this first example back during around May 2020, that bull market signal, the breakout in the weekly Bitcoin RSI to the next major high in the price of Bitcoin, that was around 300 days, or to the bull market top, that was around 1.5 years. Or if we're taking a look at this second example here, around December 2022 to that next major high in the price of Bitcoin, that was around 400 days. And obviously right now we're seeing this next major bull market signal actually confirm. And this confirmed roughly 2 months ago. And so obviously this is still playing out right now and will likely continue to play out well into 2025 if history is any indication. So this lines up very well with this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we're also seeing this bullish cross in the weekly Bitcoin MACD play out just like what we saw just over a year ago around October 2023. Obviously, we saw this bullish cross in the weekly Bitcoin MACD, and what came next was a huge bull run for roughly 6 months or so in that example. And once again, this bullish signal in this indicator only confirmed roughly 2 months ago, give or take, which means we're still due to see multiple months worth of a bull run here on the larger timeframes. Of course, in the short term, we can see little pullbacks or sideways consolidations here and there in the short term, but zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, we're currently within a larger bull run. And what's very interesting is right now the price of Bitcoin is playing out a huge cup and handle pattern on this weekly time frame, which is a bullish technical price pattern. And also, not only are we playing out this cup and handle pattern, we're also following the price of gold very, very closely. And so on the left-hand side, this is the price of gold on the monthly time frame, and on the right-hand side, this is the price of Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And right now, gold has almost already hit the price target for this huge cup and handle pattern. pattern. We still have a little way to go before the actual price target, but we're almost there in the price of gold. But if we're taking a look at the price of Bitcoin, we're only around halfway, barely halfway between the breakout point and the price target for this massive technical pattern. So we're still following the price of gold. And in case you're wondering, the technical price target for Bitcoin for this pattern right here is sitting at approximately $126,000 per Bitcoin. And so obviously there's still a lot of potential opportunity still to go here in the price of Bitcoin. And while Bitcoin continues its bull run, it's likely that altcoins will also see a major bull run, especially heading into the altcoin season, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But first, if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange to trade these opportunities. And personally, I take a lot of my trades over on Bybit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a 500 USDT position airdrop. So basically a free $500 trade as your first trade over on Bybit, but that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there's also Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you might not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll also leave a link to Bitfinex below this video. And if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5K deposit bonus. And only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever, but that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. So as another option out there other than Bybit, one that you can access from the US, once again, there's Bitfinex links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a look at this Bitcoin chart on the monthly time frame, and right now looking at the monthly Bitcoin RSI, we are currently starting to enter into overbought territories again, like what we saw around March this year. But it's important to understand that during these major Bitcoin bull cycles, the RSI gets extremely overbought. Not just a little bit overbought, but all the way up towards around 90 to 100 in the monthly Bitcoin RSI is usually where the bull market starts topping out. And so obviously, if we're taking a look at where the RSI is sitting at as of recording this video in the monthly time frame, this is sitting in the mid 70 range, in between 70 to 80. And the bull market, based on history, tops out when the RSI is closer towards around 90. So we still have a way to go in this bull market simply just based on this RSI. And also this predicts the bear market bottoms, or basically great buying opportunities to accumulate Bitcoin near the lows when the RSI on the monthly time frame is below 50. So in the bottom half of the RSI indicator on the monthly time frame is usually some of the best buying opportunities in Bitcoin's history. And so of course, I'll continue to update you on this chart right here throughout this Bitcoin bull cycle. So make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And with that being said, taking a look at this monthly Bitcoin chart, and this is a potential method to help predict the bull market top in this bull cycle. Now, of course, the bull market top might come in a little bit higher or a little bit lower, but either way, based on this method right here, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool from this 2011 high down to the 2011 low on the monthly candle closes here. If we do that, and then we take a look at the 350% extension level, that's sitting at the next major bull market high, which is sitting at approximately just above $1,000 US. And then if we're doing the same thing again on this monthly time frame based on the monthly candle closes, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool from that bull market high down to the next bear market bottom in the 2014 bear market, and then taking a look at the Fibonacci extension, but this time around multiplying the previous Fibonacci extension of 350% by 75%. So 75% of 350 to the nearest 10 is 260. And that's sitting pretty much precisely at the next major bull market high if we're rounding that to the nearest 10 at around 260%, looking at that extension level from that bear market Fibonacci retracement. And then if we're taking a look at the next example, the 2018 Bitcoin bear market, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool from the bull market high to the bear market bottom based on the monthly candle closes, and then taking a look at the previous Fibonacci extension level of 260 and multiplying it by the same ratio of 75% of 260, rounding to the nearest 10 once again, is around 200%. So looking at the 200% extension level from this Fibonacci retracement, and that comes in at approximately $60,000, which is very close to the next major bull market high. Now, it's important to mention that the bull market went a little bit higher than 60,000. We went almost up to 70,000. And in this previous example right here, that predicted the bull market high at around 18 to 19,000. And we went to around 19,500, nearly 20,000. And so it's possible Bitcoin can overshoot this target right here. But this is a somewhat conservative estimate, a very likely target for somewhere near the bull market top. Once again, we can go a little bit higher, but when we get close to this extension level, that's telling us that it might be a decent time to take a bit of profits off the table. And so if we're looking at this next example, the current example drawn from the previous bull market high to the bear market bottom based on the monthly candle closes using the same ratio, 75% of 200 to the nearest 10 is 150%. And that 150% extension level this time around is sitting at approximately $120,000 per Bitcoin. And now, once again, it's possible we can overshoot that price target. It's possible we could go to 130, 140, 150K. But once again, just this method based on this chart right here is telling us we're likely going towards 120K, which also lines up pretty well with this cup and handle pattern price target at around 126K. But personally, when it comes to predicting the bull market top or taking profits, I'll not just be focusing on one single chart. I'll be taking a look at all of these different charts to help predict where the bull market starts topping out. So for example, if the RSI is still sitting all the way down here on the monthly time frame while the price is at 120K, this chart is still telling us that we still have more room towards the upside. And so ultimately, we can't just rely on one single chart. We have to consider all of this information to try and get what is most likely going to happen during this bull market. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the weekly time frame, this tells us the Bitcoin seasons and the altcoin seasons, because in case you're new to all of this, when the Bitcoin dominance is rising, that basically means Bitcoin is gaining market share in the crypto market. So Bitcoin is outperforming a lot of the altcoins, whereas if the Bitcoin dominance is falling, then the altcoins are gaining market share. So the altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin on average. And now, obviously, during these Bitcoin seasons, when the Bitcoin dominance is rising, some altcoins here and there can still outperform Bitcoin. It's just a lot harder to find those altcoins. There's not very many that outperform Bitcoin during these periods in the market. But looking at the altcoin seasons, during these huge crashes in the Bitcoin dominance, we see some altcoins not only 10x, but some altcoins 50x, 100x, 500x, and some altcoins even 1000x from their starting prices, which is obviously life-changing gains. Life-changing money can be made during these huge altcoin seasons that happen roughly once every 4 years. And the next major altcoin season is just about to begin. That is right. We are in a once in a 4-year opportunity, and this is very close to starting because we can see that over the last couple of years here, basically from the end of 2022 all the way up till pretty much right now, the Bitcoin dominance has been on a huge bullish move. And this aligns very well with previous Bitcoin cycles, because if we're taking a look at these vertical lines on the price chart, the white lines are the Bitcoin halvings that happen roughly once every 4 years, and the red lines are the US presidential elections. So we can see how cyclical Bitcoin is during these 4-year cycles. And so usually roughly halfway between the elections or halfway between the halvings, we see the Bitcoin dominance start bottoming out and begin a major bullish move heading into the Bitcoin halving and into the US election. But based on these two previous examples, following the US elections, we usually see a huge crash in the Bitcoin dominance, which is the beginning of the next major altcoin season happening once every 4 years or so. And when that actual crash starts, when we're measuring out from the US election to when the crash starts, in this first example, that was roughly around 3 to 4 months. And if we're taking a look at the second example from the US election to when that crash actually started, that was roughly around 2 months after the US election. So on average, we're talking around 2 to 4 months, give or take, most likely around 2 to 3 months from the US election to the next major altcoin season officially beginning. And usually these significant altcoin seasons begin in the new year following the Bitcoin halving year. So for example, we saw a Bitcoin halving during 2016, and then it was at the very beginning of 2017, around February, March 2017, where that major altcoin season officially began. And then of course we saw a Bitcoin halving during 2020, and then it was right in January, right at the very beginning of 2021, where that next major altcoin season officially began. And so obviously right now we're just starting to head into December. So at some point over the next couple of months, potentially the next major altcoin season will officially begin. So that gives us a little bit of time to prepare for that huge altcoin season. So once again, make sure you get set up, ready to go using those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And if we're measuring out the length of time these altcoin seasons actually last, during 2017, that altcoin season lasted for pretty much one exact year. And then if we're taking a look at the 2021 altcoin season, that lasted for roughly around 5 months, give or take. And so we're talking about an altcoin season that will likely last around half a year to 1 year. So no longer than a year as a likely scenario, but no less than around half a year, give or take. So that sort of time frame is when the altcoin season will likely play out. Once again, just based on history, no guarantees, but this is based on history. And so in other words, there's a good chance that the first half of 2025 will likely be a huge altcoin season in that first half of 2025 once again. So very, very soon. Honestly, at any moment now, that altcoin season could begin at any moment now, all the way through to say January. We could see the beginning of that next major altcoin season, and then that will last for most likely the first half of 2025. And so once again, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos, and definitely share this video around while you still can, because we're just in the beginning stages of the next major opportunities to make life-changing money. But with that being said, this is the only price update video I'll post today because I am traveling today, but tomorrow I'll be back to my normal update videos. And also I will have an exchange tutorial video coming out today as well, so check that video out if you can. But with that being said, if you want to actually know how to take these trades, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.